You just opened
I used my thumb.
You opened up Santa's butt, didn't you?
I did. Yeah, a beer that we're drinking tonight is called Santa's Butt. It's a winter porter. It's look at that. It's got Santa's butt right on it.
Please, sir, can I have some more?
He's a wrinkly man. So I'll pour this. Ooh, it's a stout.
Yeah, it's brown. All right, let me take a sip of this.
It smells like so
ass,
good.
Dude.
Doesn't it? Smells like a porter.
Just kidding.
Some people are like, that's the same thing. Porters are ass. So it's another episode with 2 beers. And I brought them both because it's a pint. I have a pint each. Whoa, that much of a punch, huh?
Just wasn't ready for it.
I always watch your face first because you always have some very cartoony ways about drinking beers.
It's all right. It's pretty good.
Okay, but I got another one that we'll crack open sometime in the middle of the episode when we're ready for another one.
For the name Santa's Butt, it tastes pretty good.
Yeah. Okay, I don't know who it's from. I don't know the brewery. It doesn't really say. Product of the United Kingdom. Lime Ventures. And Santa sat on his great butt enjoying a hearty brew. Hell yeah. Santa's over there just bossing around a bunch of elves, making toys, drinking beer. So my twins were born.
What?
Yeah,
Whoa.
crazy. December 30th, they came out. It was crazy, man. I mean, birth is one thing, but when there's 2 of them in there, whew, it's crazy. Birth went great. They're still in the NICU for now. Things are going well. They just need to learn to eat. Like, there's a lot of energy it takes to eat when you're a baby because you got to learn all the stuff. But hopefully, we'll bring them home in a couple days. And yeah, things are going good. It's been kind of a weird week though. Like, not to get into a bunch of stuff, but like some stuff happened at work. Like someone passed away. It was really rough, man.
Oof.
Crazy. It's just, I don't know. It's been like a weird like Twilight Zone kind of week. And you're out next week, so we probably won't have an episode next week because Cleet's gonna be in California.
Yeah, gotta do things.
Gotta do some things.
Gotta wrap some things in California.
Did you do anything fun this week?
Oh, did I ever? So I actually watched a scary movie that I enjoyed. I would probably give it 4.5 out of 5 stars. Really good.
4.5 out of 5,
Yeah.
huh?
It's called The Endless. And I think you can watch it for free on Amazon. Potentially. I don't think we rented it. Anyways, I was looking for a decent Lovecraftian horror film. Like, it's really hard to find those. Like,
It is hard.
Like, I guess they're just not very popular, but, you know, when it comes to Lovecraftian horror, it's like, how do you define that? Like, what is it? And I guess it's
hard to do.
Something so much out of the realm of what you can comprehend.
Which is why I think H.P. Lovecraft was so good at what he did, because it was just so creepy, even though he was a racist bitch.
It makes you feel pretty insignificant. Like, the thing is so far beyond you that you were just like a speck of something that it doesn't even want to pay attention to or something.
It's like, you're not even worth my time sort of thing.
Or it's like a god and you're an ant and has a magnifying glass. Anyways, so The Endless, and I ended up watching the prequel prior to that. It's a story about 2 brothers that escape a cult. Well, they don't escape a cult. They kind of just walk away.
They're just like, leave.
Yeah, they're like, this isn't for me. They kind of like tell the public that it's a suicide cult and all this stuff. And the little brother, you know, he's like 20. His older brother's like 23, something like that. He's like, you know, I want to go visit that cult. I miss the people that I grew up with. He's like, okay, well, we will we'll go back for like a couple of days and we'll go visit them. And the cult's described as a UFO cult or some type of like suicide UFO cult.
What the hell?
Anyways, when they start going there, some weird shit starts happening, and it's pretty good. It's pretty fucking good. It's a little bit of a slow burn, but I loved it.
Cool. I'll have to check it out. And the prequel is called what?
Resolution.
Nice. You said it's Amazon? I mean, I'm sure I could find it.
Yeah, I think it's on Amazon Prime.
Is it newer, or is it like an older?
It came out in 2018, and the prequel was like 2013.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't watched anything. Oh, I lied. Did you ever watch Squid Games?
No.
So they have like the show that came out, but now they have like a real challenge, like reality show, where they bring in like 456 real people to compete.
If they're not killing people, I'm not interested.
It's intense. And they're casting, so you can like apply to be on there, man. 4.55 million.
I would just like to be like like the scummiest, the most cheatingest. Like,
Dude, people get cutthroat.
On TV.
People get cutthroat.
Like, you're like, oh my God, look over there, and you trip them. Like the whole audience like hates you, and like whatever, like you're like talking like on a side segment, you just try to be like the best person.
Yeah, I'm
the greatest person. Like I've looked, people don't like me apparently. Well, you know, I'm great. I don't know the fuck.
Dude, there's
problem
people
is.
like that on there. It drives me nuts. And the thing is, like, it's a reality show, and like they ask you to eliminate people, and like they know who you are. So it's like you literally got in my way of $4.5 million. Like I'm gonna hunt you down for the rest of your life.
Oh my God,
it's crazy. Yeah, I know where you are, dude.
A list of your fears.
But that was a really good show. I actually liked it. It's intense. Like it makes you feel so angry when people are like, no, they just get so cutthroat. But what are we talking about today, Cleet?
Well, we are going to go through a thread of scary stories written on the internet.
Hey, that's our favorite place to find stories. Well, second favorite. I prefer stories that are written in from our viewers.
Oh, really? I
and
thought you were going to say
submissions.
Santa's butt.
Yeah, Santa's butt's okay. It doesn't taste like I thought it would. It's not as jolly.
Oh, ho,
But it's okay. It's not bad for a porter. So, before we start, some of these stories I'm assuming or maybe most of them are like people writing stories, or is it like true encounters? Mixture of both?
I don't say. I'm sure it's a mixture of both.
Okay.
I just believe all storytellers.
Oh.
All right, this one is from R. Grace Sauce. It's titled Horrifying Experience During Quarantine. I was upstairs in my room one night playing video games with the volume really loud when I thought I heard noises coming from downstairs. I muted the TV and listened closer. Nothing. I resumed playing the game for another hour when I heard it again, only louder. I was sure I heard it this time, and I was a little freaked out. To assure myself, I went downstairs to the basement where I thought I heard the noise coming from. As soon as I opened the basement door, I was hit with a cold breeze. I went downstairs and saw the window wide open. I was 100% sure I had closed and locked all the windows in the house. I was ready to make a run for it when something stopped me. I turned around, and for the first time I noticed the closet door was slightly cracked open.
Nope.
I stood for what seemed like 30 minutes in front of that door, debating whether I should open it. I moved closer and put my hand on the doorknob. All of a sudden, I heard a creepy crackle coming from inside the closet. It says crackle. I thought I was going to say cackle. But
It probably was meant to be cackle.
yeah. I locked the door and called the cops, who had an unusually fast response time. He like calls and hears a knock on his door.
Whoa! I suspected there might be some distress calls coming from your home. My cop senses went off.
They came in and searched the house, and not even 5 minutes into their search, I heard a gunshot from downstairs. A few minutes later, they came out with a deranged-looking man, probably homeless. They put him in the back of the car, and they told me they had opened the door, and the man was holding a gun, shot at them, and missed. He luckily missed, and the cops disarmed him and arrested him. The scariest part was how close I was to opening that door and likely being murdered.
Okay, so I'm assuming this one's probably a story, because it's called Emergency Alert.
Let our viewers decide.
Do not look outside your windows. They could still decide. I could be wrong. Probably not likely. Emergency alert. Warning. This is not a test. I repeat, this is not a test. Citizens of the world, lock all doors. Close all your blinds. Do not go near any windows. Do not look outside. Do not leave your house. Stay in a room with no windows. Gather what supplies you can. Turn off all the lights. Do not open the door for anything. Just the thought of that going off at any point in my life, I'd be like, oh.
Would you look?
Of course I would.
God damn it, the bird box. The bird box happened. God damn it.
Quiet Place and Bird Box mixed. You can't see. you can't
make
talk.
A sound and you can't see.
When I first heard it, it didn't even sound real. It sounded fake, like something in a horror movie. But it was an emergency, so I decided I probably should do what they told me. I grabbed a flashlight, a pillow, my phone, charger, food, and basic other stuff to keep me entertained while this stuff happened. I had no idea what was going on, but once I got into my bathroom and got comfy, I texted my parents asking if they got the alert.
Wait, who gets comfy in the bathroom?
You can't have any windows, man.
Okay.
What other room in your house doesn't have windows?
I thought it was just don't look out the windows, you know?
They said, citizens of the world. Did they actually broadcast that to the world? I asked myself. So I texted an internet friend that lives across the world. We all have one of those, right? And they said they got it too. Same exact message. And to be honest, it's kind of scary. They tell you what to do, but not what's going on. People are scared about that. 20 minutes later, emergency alert. This is not a test. I repeat, this is not a test. Unknown creatures have been knocking on people's doors and been killing people that open the door. There are 5 major hotspots: Washington, D.C., Tokyo, Toronto, Moscow, London. They've been located all around, but it seems as if they're attacking those first. This is an invasion. Stay in your rooms. Do not open any doors. Do not look outside. They can kill you instantly with just a look. May God help us all.
Definitely a true story. I remember this.
Yeah, I remember this happened too. So what, 2016? Emergency nuke sirens are going off. Tornado sirens are going off. What is going on? Is this some kind of prank?
Yes.
Yeah, this is quite the worldly prank here. How can an invasion be real? Are aliens real? How can I even comprehend that? I heard car alarms going off. I hear things being destroyed. They are here. They are killing. Sounds like a war zone out there, but without any guns. What can the government do? Just shoot them? But they'd die looking at them. There's no possible way we could ever survive this. We're gonna die. I text my parents, but no answer. I text my brother and sister. No answer. I start to panic now. What if my family is gone, and all I can do is listen to other people's families get murdered? The nuke sirens have started again, and they're very loud, shaking my whole apartment. I wonder what the other people in my building are thinking. Probably like me, this is it. This is the end of the world. Everyone on this planet will die. I hear a knock at my door. I don't answer it. I hear someone screaming for me to open it. I mean, it sounded human. Should I open it?
Yes.
No. That would be stupid. Emergency alert. This is not a test. I repeat, this is not a test. The extraterrestrial are attacking every major city in the world. There's a lot of them. We have not found out what they want. Stay inside. Millions, if not billions, are dead. Stay inside. It's as if the government have given up now. There's no way to fight, and these messages are less helpful each time they come on. If billions are dying, then I don't know how we can survive this. I mean, I have so far, but it doesn't sound like for long. I hear buildings being destroyed. I hear cars being destroyed. My building has been hit a few times. I'm hearing my world crumble before me. At this point, there's no reason to hope anymore. There's so many dying. There's so much chaos. They will get everybody. I would love to know what one of these things looks like, but if I see them, I die. I hope someone takes a picture, and if we do survive, I want to see it. I want to see what's killing us. But the end is nowhere near, and I don't even know how many people we have left. Should I just kill myself? Maybe I should die before they get me. I don't want to die by those things.
Jump through your window.
Plus, what if I do survive and get survivor's guilt? Then there's no way Emergency alert. This is not a test. I repeat, this is not a test. The extraterrestrial have left, and left billions of people dead. If you are alive, please tap the button on your phone now. If on a radio, tune to 104 and state your name and city. We will update you in 20 minutes. There's no way I would want to live. That's what I was going to say. And yet, somehow, I'm actually alive. Do I want to die now? Well, no. But how many people are alive? What did these things want? Why did they attack us? There's too many questions to ask even right now. At this point, all we can do is try to figure out some numbers and restart society. How can a world like ours recover from something like this? How long until society is normal again? Will humanity ever be the same? I don't know. What I do know is that I could have lost everything. I'll text my friends and family and come back with some numbers. Emergency alert. This is not a test. I repeat, this is not a test. We have reported a little over 1 billion people accounted for. Not every country has a technology, so we will investigate those countries in the coming months. We do not understand what these creatures wanted, nor what they have taken. In the next month or two, we will be figuring out the next steps for humanity. May God help us all. Only 3 people I know survived: my sister, my uncle, and my best friend. Everyone else is dead. I don't want to be here, but at the same time, humanity needs me. We need each other to continue human life. Only time will tell what to do next, if there's anything next. 2 weeks later, the guilt is too much.
Okay, so essentially we were just like a side hoe and the aliens hit us and then quit us?
Yeah, for some reason they came, they killed a bunch of people, and then they left. So, cool.
See you in 9 months. This one is from Irvin Lurpton. My girlfriend talks in her sleep. At first, it was cute and hilarious to tell her what she said. It was harmless nonsense. The sky is folding, or we need to raise the ground. We'd talk the next day about if she remembered her dream, but she never did. I wish I knew what she meant by, we need to raise the ground. Some context. Our nightly routine is for us to start out cuddling and then give up once it gets too hot. Then we're usually both on our sides, back to back. She would fall asleep before I do, and so I would hear the full range of her nightly musings. Honestly, at first, I was eager to hear what she said. It was always funny to tell her and our friends what she would say while deep in the throes of REM. But now I'm done. I prefer she not talk anymore. How am I going to sleep after what happened last night?
What happened last night?
Last night, around 11 p.m., she was asleep, and I was still up reading. Back to back, I hear her mumble something under her breath. I couldn't quite make out what she said, but I lean over from my book to peek at her face, and she is sleeping soundly. I return to my book, get absorbed back into its pages. At some point, I fall asleep. Next thing I know, I'm woken up by my girlfriend talking at full volume. I open my eyes, and at some point in the night, both of us have turned to lay face to face. My girlfriend's eyes are wide open. She's staring right at me, but her eyes are vacuous, like she is looking through me. These eyes, man, it's like she was straining to widen them as much as possible. Those are the eyes I fell in love with, and right now, they are scaring the absolute piss out of me. My heart rate skyrockets, and chock full of adrenaline, I throw off the covers and jump out of bed. Looking at her, her eyes just following me like a painting, but her body stays still. For 1 second, I decided that my book light was keeping her awake, and what she had said was, "Can you please turn that off?" Now out of bed and looking at her, she's not right. Her body hasn't moved, but her eyes dart from looking at me and to looking around the room.
Fucking creepy.
I dare to ask her, "Are you all right?" No response. Those eyes look at me when I speak, though. They are now deadlocked, looking right into my eyes. Her breathing hasn't changed. That is a sleep breathing for sure. That's when, while looking right at me, she says in a too deep voice, "Come back to bed, dearie."
Nope. I'm gonna go sleep on the couch, bud.
My girlfriend has never called me dearie before. We have had pet names, sure, but they range from pumpkin, baby, to cupcake. Dearie sounds like something my grandmother would call me. I decided I'll get more information before I climb back into bed with a potentially possessed girlfriend.
I'm gonna go study real quick. I need some information.
Are you awake, sweetie? No response. The eyes dart from me to the wall, to the door, and then the ceiling. I'm about to nope out of the room when her wide open eyes rolled to the back of her head. The white from those eyes stands out in the dim radiance of the book light. No pupils in sight. She insists, "Of course I'm awake. Come back to bed?" With a subtle tap of the fingers on the comforter. Looking at her fingers now, I'm starting to come around. She's never sleepwalked before. Surely she is awake now if she's moving her hands. But looking at her fingers, it's as though she's pretending to have control. They are all going in different directions. One finger pointing straight down and the other to the side. Those hands are not my girlfriend's hands. They are simulating normal movements as best they can, though. I say, I'm going to get a drink of water, baby. Be right back.
I'm gonna get a drink of water, baby.
Can I get you anything? Fully planning to run out of the house the moment I'm over the threshold.
Chicken shit.
But my normally agreeable and sweet girlfriend decides I'm not allowed to leave. As serious as cancer, she says in a too deep horror voice, "Take one step out of that door, and I will rip your throat and shit down your neck."
Oh, man.
God, some people are into that.
Just a typical Wednesday shenanigan.
Shocked, but understanding the importance of not letting this beast know I'm in trouble, I reply, as interesting as a proposition as that is, I think I'm going to... And thinking quickly, I grab my water bottle from the nightstand. This doesn't please my girlfriend as she decides to start screaming and fingering her way towards me.
The guy is just phrasing this whole fucking thing crazy.
It is a supernatural scream, so high-pitched and bird-like, I feel as though my neighbors 3 houses down were going to ask if they heard that last night. As fast as I can muster, I unscrew the lid and douse her in water. Like I knew what I was doing, her eyes close, her garbled appendages normalize, and she is back asleep.
Garbled appendages. Good Lord.
I'm going to sleep on the couch for a while, maybe forever. She'll understand when she's awake.
I doubt it.
That's part 1. Maybe we'll do part 2. I don't know.
All right, well, we're going to open up our second beer, which is Lump of Coal. It's a dark holiday stout. All right, get this thing poured. All right, this is from Outside Your Window. It's called My Brother Didn't Leave His Room for 3 Days. My parents wouldn't let me check on him.
You call that World of Warcraft, man. Chill out.
That's true. On the 3rd night, Jacob didn't come out of his room. I got the courage to bring it up to Mom. People don't sleep for this long, I said. She was cooking a casserole, the 6th one this week. We're running out of fridge space for the leftovers, but she kept making more. 6 casseroles.
Gotta make casseroles.
I would watch her from the corner of the kitchen, her posture curved and her newly grayed hair hanging over the food. I walked over and tugged at her sleeve, but she didn't respond. She was slathering butter on top of the crust. Mom, I said, did you hear me? He needs his strength, she said. We can't be bothering him. Before I could say anything, Dad walked in. His eyes were red and swollen, but he was smiling. He had 3 cans of Coke in his hands. I'm starving.
3 cans of Coke in his hands.
I'm starving, he said. I still have the taste of that horrible cafeteria food in my mouth. You would think hospitals had good food for how much money they make, Mom said. I know, right? Dad said. Placed the Cokes on the counter. Mom didn't want us to go near Jacob's room, but I was getting worried. I peered out from the kitchen. His room hung at the end of the hallway like an abandoned lighthouse. The only sign of life being the New York Yankees poster taped to his door. Near the ground, there was a small sliver of space to see if he had turned on his lights. It was still dark, as it had been for the last 3 days. I turned back to Mom. Shouldn't we check on him? I asked. I don't know why places like Wendy's or Burger King don't put up little shops in the hospital, Dad went on. I mean, you have hundreds of people who are stuck there for days on end. That's consistent business. It's all politics, Mom said. They sign these big contracts that are impossible to break. Right. That makes sense. Right.
Good old hospital politics.
Seriously.
God damn it.
Damn. Dad was standing next to Mom now, his face inches from the casserole. He took a long sniff. Ah, he said. Smells great. Jesus. All right, well, I hope the brother's okay. Do you want some of the leftovers while this finishes in the oven? She asked. I think we still have some from yesterday. Wasn't the spinach and ricotta one good? Very good. Very, very good, he said.
What the fuck is this story?
I couldn't stop eating it. They're eating the brother. That's my guess.
Uh-oh.
It's a bunch of casserole with brother bits in it. Jacob's gonna devour these when he gets the appetite, Mom said. I turned back and took a step into the hallway. The distance between me and his room felt long and narrow, like a high wire. When I got away from the casserole smell, I hit a different smell. It reminded me of old gym socks.
Pennies.
Even with Mom's array of candles and incense, I still smelled it. It cut through everything. The last time I saw Jacob was on the drive home from his treatment. His face was a pale green, and his eyes kept rolling back. Mom said I had to keep talking to him to keep his focus. I told him about my friends from school and how they kept pranking the teacher by putting tacks on her chair. It wasn't true. I saw it on a TV show once, but I was running out of material. Didn't matter, though. Jacob never responded. All he did was cough. Pink drool was spilling onto his t-shirt. Danny, Mom said, why don't you heat up some of those leftovers? We're all craving that spinach and ricotta casserole. The fucking casseroles, man. I can't stop thinking about it, Dad said. I was dreaming about it last night. I ignored them, kept my focus on my brother's door. I didn't dream about the casserole like Dad. I kept having a different dream. My brother was running into my room and flicking my ear. It was a game we used to play. We would tiptoe up to the other's door, then wait for our moment. Then the attacker ran in and got 1 or 2 good flicks before retreating. What kind of game is that? In my dream, though, Jacob would run in and flick me, but I wouldn't move. Just stood there. He would flick and laugh and then flick some more. Sometimes he would flick so hard my ear flew off. What the... All right, I hope the story pays off, because this is just... Whew. Earth to Danny, Dad said, snapping his fingers in my face. He was standing in front of me, blocking my view of Jacob's door. Do you mind heating up 4 portions of the casserole in case Jacob wants some? We're going to eat that before this next casserole, because we want to make sure Jacob's able to try it, because, in my opinion, it was definitely one of your mom's best. I looked up at him and held my eye contact. I couldn't say what I was thinking, so I wanted Dad to feel it. Maybe, if I stared long enough, the feelings would translate. But Dad looked at me for only a moment, then away. In that brief connection, though, I saw something I didn't want to see. It was like staring down the tunnel of the world's deepest well. Come on now, he said. He grabbed my shoulders and turned me around. His voice got heavier. You're going to want to heat up each piece individually, because if you do them all at once, then you won't get even heat through the pieces, and you'll probably have a couple that are too hot and others that are too cold, and then Jacob won't get the full picture of how good these casseroles are. Oh, Lordy. We're getting close to the end. I hope it pays off.
It was his brother.
Dad let go of my shoulders and walked ahead of me, but I stayed in the hallway a moment longer. I turned to look at my brother's door one last time, fantasizing about walking up to it, going inside. But I was afraid Mom would yell at me. Besides, I never liked going in there. He had a puke bucket next to his bed, which always had pink splatters in it, and there were always clumps of hair on his pillows. But back before the last hospital visit, Mom would make me go in there and talk to him, but I always made up some excuse, like I had a cold and didn't want to get him sick. When I couldn't get out of it, I would stay in there for a few minutes and watch him try to breathe. I would tell him about some TV episode I saw, then run back to my mom. I looked up. I thought I was walking back to the kitchen, but I was moving towards the door. I didn't want to, but I kept moving, like my limbs were controlled by a puppeteer. I put my hand on the doorknob. I turned. The gym sock smells filled my head like helium. Through the darkness, I could make out a sliver of my brother's face. The soft evening light fell on him. His eyes were open, staring at the ceiling. His arms were straight as rulers, and his fingers curled like a blooming rose. I walked to the side of his bed. Red spit fell off of his lips. He looked like a frowning clown. I flicked his ear. It was hard. I walked out and closed the door behind me. As I walked back, I seemed to forget what the inside of his room looked like. With the door closed, it could be anything. Jacob could be doing jumping jacks, or reading comic books, or plotting his next ear flick attack. When I walked back into the kitchen, I heated up 4 plates of spinach and ricotta casserole. When they were done, I wrapped Jacob's plate in aluminum foil and put it in the oven to keep warm. Then, Mom, Dad, and I sat in the dining room and ate in silence. That's it.
What
the fuck?
You gotta click the comments. Click the comments. What will the comments say?
This is good, like crazy good, but also heartbreaking. The way we lie to ourselves and keep grief at bay. Wonderfully delivered. I was so happy they were not eating Jacob. Still sad that is how they hang on to him. That's how I thought it was. But doesn't he decompose? This is a great story. Ever think about writing for no sleep?
So he was dead. Okay.
Yeah, he was dead. All right. Well, that's just... Whew. Okay. I thought for sure they were just eating him.
All right. We are going to read My Girlfriend Talks in Her Sleep, Part 2.
Oh, snap.
My hands tremble over the keyboard, and I may have a concussion, so please forgive any typos or brevity of my update. It is the morning after my typical, amiable, and kind-hearted girlfriend's body was possessed in sleep by some malicious entity. I've been distant this morning, so she knows something is amiss. But obviously, still reeling from the experience, I can't tell her yet that she tried to rip out my throat and shit down my neck.
This lump of coal is really good.
Yeah.
Dark holiday stout. Much more than you deserve for Christmas this year.
I'm tired. Obviously, I didn't sleep last night, but I did stay up most of the night with all of the lights on, feverishly clutching my water bottle in the living room. The demonic beast inside my girlfriend managed to creep its way back into control sometime soon after I exited the room and pinned it closed with a dining room chair. Given her eye movements and the activation delay, my theory is that the beast is allowed control during REM. But what do I know? It spent most of the evening attempting to coax me back into the room, this time with a pinch more emotional intelligence, calling out to me in what was close to my girlfriend's normal voice as it could manage. "Come to bed, sweetie. Why are you sleeping on the couch again?" I decided I'm not going to validate this demon with a response. But
I'm just going to ignore it. It'll stop talking to me.
But moments later, the two deep, sinister voices back. "If you don't open this door, I will slit the cat's throat."
Jesus Christ, dude.
Fuck, I forgot about the cat. He's still in the bedroom, probably cowering in fear, hissing in the corner to no avail. My guess is that the cat is already dead, but what can I do? Let our beloved kitty be eaten alive by someone he trusts? I've seen enough horror movies to know that this is the moment I have to decide to do something dumb or heroic, or die on screen while everyone yells about how much of an idiot I am for opening the door. I may have a little more sympathy for these characters now. People thrust into impossible situations are forced to make impossible choices. Against my better judgment, I'm going to open the door, get the cat out of the room. I'm staring at the bedroom door now and notice something damp and muscly poking and prodding its way out from under the door. I point my phone's flashlight at it and realize it is my girlfriend's tongue.
Oh, God.
Fuck.
From underneath the door?
Yeah.
She's just going to town on the bottom of the door,
She's
huh?
trying to lick his toe. I catch myself experiencing an intrusive thought, wondering if she will want to know why her mouth is full of cat hair tomorrow. But this is perfect. I need to test out my new technique, a spray bottle full of the sink water. I spray the tongue as it inchworms itself around the edge of the door.
That's so fucking weird.
Presumably looking for... This is weird to read, man, I'm sorry. Presumably looking for purchase of my human flesh.
God damn.
It immediately recoils, and I hear the body inside collapse. Water is still a demon possession off switch, I decide, and I immediately tear the chair away from holding the door locked. I don't even have time to think about whether I have holy water on tap. I need to act
Who the
fast.
fuck has holy water on tap? I installed this holy water faucet straight from the church.
Attempting to open the door now, so my significant other's unconscious body is blocking me from entering.
It's not unconscious. She's licking the shit out of the door, dude.
It requires quite a bit of force to slide her ragdoll body behind the door so I can squeeze through. Trying not to look too closely at her, I realize now that she is sweating a black oily substance.
Oof.
And the bed and floor are totally drenched. I realize the reason it was so difficult to open the door. The demon's sweat is sticky. She may be stuck to the ground. Carefully avoiding stepping in the demon's superglue, I'm now inside the bedroom. To my dismay, I don't see the cat right away. It makes sense. Frightened as hell, it must have crawled and hid under the bed. I've got to persuade it out from under there now, but that will mean I need to get down on my belly and reach under the bed. Realizing the absurdity of this situation, I have one hand pointing a spray bottle at my dead-asleep girlfriend and one hand reaching under the bed to grab my cat.
She's going to be pissed when you spray her in the face and she shoots awake like, what are you doing?
My eyes trained on my girlfriend, I reach blindly under the dark bed. I can feel its soft fur. I wrap my hand around it and attempt to bring it towards me. It wriggles free from my grasp with evidently zero intention of making this easy. It crawls deeper under the bed. Frustrated, I take my eyes off my girlfriend to look where it went. No sign of it. I make the call to put the spray bottle down and point my phone flashlight under the bed. It's too deep underneath for me to get it from this side. I'm going to need to go around to the other side to capture it. Pulling my head back out from underneath the bed, I realize my fatal error. My girlfriend has woken up. She is standing over me, a dark tower as I lay vulnerable on the ground beside the bed. Her teeth look sharper from this angle in my phone's flashlight. Why didn't I turn on the bedroom light? She is drooling that black oily glue. Her hair, normally a gorgeous brown, is glossed with black paste that has slicked itself back to her head like she just got out of the shower. Her eyes are menacing, wide open, bloodshot, and yellow. She looks tired. I'm tired too, but it's time to go. The cat heroics can wait. Just as I'm about to scuttle an adrenaline-filled crawl around her legs and out the open door, she
This guy's vocabulary is just on point. Before I scuttle away from the demon superglue,
I was in a delicate conundrum.
I was waiting for her tongue to find purchase of my toes.
She grabs both of my ankles and both of her...
Whoa, this is getting kinky.
She grabs both of... God damn it.
Go ahead.
She grabs both ankles with both of her arms. I remember her typical gentle touch is nowhere to be found in this grip as her nails dig shallow wounds into my legs.
Oh, Jesus.
With inhuman strength, she begins raising my entire body weight by my legs, plainly in an attempt to start eating me alive from the toes up.
God.
Little does she know, I've never skipped a leg day in my life.
Oh, Jesus.
I kicked my girlfriend square in her teeth with both feet. She drops me on my head, but I can't feel it. While she is stunned, I manage to get to my feet, carefully avoid the preternatural spiderweb paste, and exit the room. Hand shaking, I adjust the chair to the correct angle, just in time to hear an agitated knocking on the other side. Baby, come back. You can blame it all on me. No, she really
There
says,
was something and everything about you.
She says, baby, come back.
Baby, come back.
It's late. You're going to be so tired at work tomorrow. All of that, and I didn't even get the damn cat out. And my spray bottle isn't even there. What the hell am I going to do now?
You're telling me there's a part 3 to this
Just
shit?
keeps going, man.
It's like part 17. All right, this comes from David. It's called I Found a Tape of a Woman Being Killed.
Oh.
I was at my grandmother's house. Of all the places to find a tape of a woman being murdered.
She's murdering a bitch.
Helping my Damn, that just took hold. Helping my grandmother move furniture around. She became my mother figure after the death of my mother when I was a young child. I had been staying with her ever since my car accident. My grandmother helped nurse me back into health. So I made an effort to alleviate her of any and all physical tasks. I felt it was the least that I could do. It was in the attic when I accidentally knocked over a box. The box was filled with VHS tapes, with the farthest dating back to 1990. All that was written on them was the year. There was a TV in the attic as well, because we used the attic as more like a functioning room than a storage space. This reminds me of Sinister, man. The box of films in the attic with a little fucking projector film. Yikes! Grandma's into some freaky deaky shit. So I decided to play the oldest tape. I expected to see happy memories, home videos, scenery, anything other than this. The video starts with whoever is holding the camera, filming a woman sitting alone at a small table at a coffee shop. She's reading. The camera was zoomed in on her hair, glowing in the light. Fixed. The tape then skips to a new setting in what looks like downtown Chicago somewhere. I can see the back of the same woman from before, walking down the street, oblivious to the person trailing and filming behind her. The sky is now a dark gray. I can see lights from passing cars glinting off her shiny boots. The camera is clambering and rubbing up against the jacket of the cameraman. He or she is not far from her, but is far enough away to show that he or she is not with her, clearly stalking her. The scene lasted maybe 5 minutes of the monotonous walking until it shifted to the woman now bound and stowed in the trunk of a car. She was taped up, unable to speak. All I could hear was the sound of heavy rainfall accompanied by her screaming and crying. Her muffled panic broke my heart in two. My spine became frozen. I couldn't open my eyes any wider. Any moment the film could shift to something so much more grotesque, so morbid, so life-changing, and I could do nothing but watch in horror. I saw a black glove covered hand sprout from behind the camera, slam the trunk door closed, trapping her inside. It's now clearly nighttime. The next scene skips to the woman, now beaten and bloody while tied to a chair. The location looks to be a warehouse somewhere. the only light coming from a single fluorescent bulb above the woman, illuminating pools of crimson red blood at her feet. The camera is steadily held, so much so that it seems to be propped up by a stand. I can hear the poor woman moaning in pain underneath the tape covering her mouth. I can also hear something shifting around on the concrete, like someone adjusting their stance. It seemed manic. I could hear clambering of metal, like tools being packed or unpacked from a bag. My stomach now fully turned. The stalker then walks into the frame, showing only his back. His head was completely covered in baklava. He carried a blade in his right hand. My heart completely halted. The stalker held her drooping head up, tilted her face upward, and began to slice her throat from left ear all the way to the right.
Jesus.
Good Lord. She squirmed and gargled in her desperate and useless attempt to survive. I had never seen so much blood in my life. The killer then takes off his mask and stares into the camera, flashing a toothy grin. The film then abruptly stops.
My mother of God.
I was held in place by my now shot nerves. My blood slowed into stillness, completely discoloring my body into an almost corpse-like white. My grandmother was watching me. She shakingly tried to console me from across the room, struggling to form words through the river of tears streaming down her face. She said she didn't want me to ever be reminded of who I was before my accident. Holy shit! Thank you for reading. Holy God, that was actually really good.
Hey, I did not catch that.
I liked that story. Holy damn. All right, well, that's going to wrap us up this evening. Thank you all for joining us again. Next week, we won't be posting an episode. Cleet will be out of town. But we'll be back the next week. Apologies in advance for not being there next week. But we do want to give a huge shout out to our paid supporters of the show, Claytor, Lord of Soup, Curtis and Laura, Jackson, Mothman, Laura, Devin, Conklin family, and Lou. Thank you all very much for your continued support of the show. I know we keep saying it, we're getting ever closer to the camera, to the reveal of our faces. Once we get 500 subs on YouTube, we will be venturing out to Nevada to stay a night in the Clown Motel, completely recorded, bringing out a Ouija board and a spirit box and all sorts of stuff, and you can watch as we do it.
And we are only 61 subs away, so if you're listening to us on YouTube, please like, share, and subscribe, as it really helps us get us out there. And as always, thank you for entering the abyss.
Until next time.